Do you struggle making decisions on which property you should buy when you've narrowed it down to 2 or 3? Well, that same thing happens to me as well. And in this video, I'm going to break down 2 properties that I am looking to acquire right now. And to be very honest with you, I have not made the decision. I typically am very, very quick to make these decisions, but I've been sitting on both of these. This beach property that you'll see right behind me here, I've been sitting on this since Wednesday, trying to negotiate the deal, obviously, but sometimes if this was a no-brainer, I would pull the trigger immediately. The second part of this is going to be this property that you see behind me, and that is in the northwest part of the country, completely opposite ends of the spectrums. Both have a tremendous amount of potential. They both have unique factors. This one has amazing views. It has a lot of ARV potential. It's in a market that is appreciating very, very quickly. It's in a price point that's appreciating at the peak of that market. It also has a factor that it has built-in revenue. It actually has a wedding venue on site right now that's, in its very first year has generated over $110,000 in revenue for the current owner. Going back to the beach property, this is what makes it challenging, is that view. This is where the emotion ties in, right? But here's the thing. This is being undermarketed. It's being undervalued almost exclusively using VRBO, not using Airbnb at all. And one of the big things is this has 1,200 square feet of deck. Outside of those windows, there's 1,200 square feet of deck to where it is unlimited possibilities to be able to create amazing experiences in space. But here's the kicker. This property has private beach. That is something that is very, very challenging. So if you look down through those windows, that beach, basically from rail to rail on the sides of the house, there is 35 feet of private beach. And literally, this is a townhome. This townhouse has a private security guard that sits out there to make sure that nobody encroaches on your beach. So that is some value propositioning, especially in this market. You can probably tell where this is. This is someplace in the Alabama or Florida coast, in the Emerald Coast, right? That water is blue, the sand is white, and you all know, unless this is not Fort Morgan, Alabama, because Fort Morgan, Alabama, the beach looks like that even on the 4th of July. This beach is literally 3 to 5 deep right now. So there's 2 properties that have unique factors to it that I'm looking at purchasing. What are some things that need to be considered? Well, which one is going to generate the most cash flow if that's what you're tied into? Which one's going to appreciate faster? So more cash flow just based off of rental income, I think as is right now, if no major upgrades are done to the property, it's a tie. It's roughly going to be around $220,000 to $250,000 a year in rental income. Now, property A, the beach property, is already doing around $188,000. I think they have 140 on the books right now. Now, with Bree and I coming in and doing some upgrades, I think we can push $240,000, $250,000. There's no question. They want $2 million for that property, or just over $2 million, $2.1 million. The mountain property is $2.8 million. I think I can pick it up for around 2.7, but they're not negotiating at all. Purely on the rental income, it's going to do about the same as the $2 million property. So it would make absolutely no sense from a cash flow perspective if that is mine or your number one thing that we're making this investment for, to buy the mountain property. I would want to go straight to the beach. But number 2, when I factor in appreciation, the appreciation rates at the beach are good, but I'm looking at about 2.5% to 3% higher appreciation rates year over year over the last 5 years at the mountain property. So I'm also looking at a $2.1 million purchase price versus a $2.7 million purchase price. So if I factor in an additional, let's just say 2% on an additional $600,000 in revenue, 10% is $60,000 a year, 5% is $30,000 a year. You're talking about another roughly $15,000 to $20,000 a year in appreciation that I can add in to my pro forma. Now let's move on to the third component, which is going to be tax incentives. The tax breaks going back to 100% accelerated depreciation. Basically, I am getting another $600,000 property with no land value to have to factor into it by buying the mountain property at $2.7 million versus the beach property at $2.1. The land value for the mountain property versus the land value for the beach property is about 40% less. So all things considered, if I buy the mountain property, I'm probably going to get about another $200 to $240 or $50,000 in bonus depreciation at 100% accelerated depreciation. So I will need that personally in 2025. If you don't need that extra bonus depreciation, then I would not factor that in. But these are all things that I'm looking at. Now, if I go back to the cash flow on the mountain property, don't forget, there's a wedding venue that there's a partnership in place to where it is completely passive income. The problem is that wedding company is renting out the house along with the venue. So that means I have to back out the potential rental income for that house that I could do straight on Airbnb or short-term rental, right? And then factor in, okay, if I can make another $120,000, $140,000 a year in revenue off of that wedding venue, I've got to back out that rental income. Let's say that that's 10 weeks and that's 2 nights on weekends during the prime season. Well, that house is probably going to be around $2,500 a night. So that's $5,000 a week and that's $50,000. So if I'm going to do 140, I got to subtract the 50, that's $90,000. So that's $90,000, including wedding venue and including those nights to factor into my pro forma. Why am I sharing all of this with you guys? Because this is the way that you have to underwrite to make the ultimate decision. But the reason really is, why are you buying this property? A lot of us are just buying a short-term rental to buy a short-term rental. We want everything involved. Which one is the most important? Is it long-term appreciation? Is it cash flow? Is it tax benefits? Well, there's no question that I can check 2 of the 3 boxes on the mountain property and get better cash flow. I can also get better appreciation and better tax benefits. So it's really 3 boxes. But if I decide I don't want to use that wedding venue as a wedding venue, then number 1 becomes a tie on the cash flow side with the beach property. So 2 out of the 3 boxes with the mountain property, 1 out of the 3 boxes with the beach property. That kind of sets up the decision-making process that really the mountain property is the one to purchase. So when I'm going through and I'm underwriting, I'm using a pro forma, but I'm not doing that until after I evaluate the market. So for me, I just want to break this down for you. This is really important. Number 1, I identify the market. Then I use my super property grader. I'll link that up down in the comments for you, right? And I'm going to go and I'm going to analyze at least 10 different properties, 9 to 10 properties. I'm going to give it a systematic grade. Then once I hone in, I decide, you know what, this is the property. And I've also identified the weaknesses in the other properties. And if I add those amenities, if I make those upgrades, I'm going to be able to increase cash flow by rising up above them. Then I'm going to go to pro forma and start underwriting on the pro forma side. And I'll give you my pro forma, I'll link that down below for you as well. So now I'm underwriting on the pro forma side. Now I can see, and remember, I am factoring in appreciation into my pro forma on page number 2. So here's one of the secrets, folks. One of the most important calls that I make, and really usually it's a text message. I love him dearly, but he's a talker and I just want to get on and off the phone, is to John Howard at CSSI. That is Cost Segregation Services Incorporated. The absolute best go-to. I've been doing all my cost segs with him since Ryan Bakey introduced me to him about 3 years ago. And he gives me a quick down and dirty back of the napkin breakdown of what my tax benefits are going to be before I purchase a property. Now, you should never let the tax tail wag the dog as the investment, ever. But that has to be a factor, just like appreciation and just like cash flow. If you can nail those 3 things, you will make sound investments like I do as well. So if you want to know which property I end up purchasing, just make sure you smash that subscribe button and I'll share that with you in the next video.